October 9th, 2025. A date that, until now, was just another Thursday on the calendar. But today, it marks a seismic shift in the American political landscape. A day that will echo in American political and legal history, reverberating far beyond the marble halls of Washington, D.C. In Alexandria, Virginia, a federal grand jury has handed down an indictment that few could have predicted just a year ago. Letitia James, the sitting Attorney General of New York, now finds herself at the center of a legal firestorm. The charges are grave: bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution. These are not minor infractions, but felonies that carry the possibility of decades behind bars, and the weight of the accusations is unmistakable. The announcement came swiftly from Lindsey Halligan, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. Halligan, a figure who has become synonymous with high-profile, politically charged prosecutions, stood before the press with a steely resolve. "No one is above the law," Halligan declared, her words echoing through the crowded press room. Yet for many watching, the irony of the moment was impossible to ignore. Letitiajames, who once led the charge against Donald Trump in a landmark civil fraud case, now faces prosecution herself, by a Justice Department that, in the eyes of many, is acting at Trump's behest. The tables have turned in dramatic fashion. The hunter has become the hunted, and the battleground is a federal court in Virginia, where the stakes could not be higher for both sides. The indictment is, legally, only an accusation, not a conviction. But in today's hyper-partisan political climate, that distinction feels almost meaningless. The court of public opinion is already in session. For millions of Americans, this moment is the culmination of Donald Trump's relentless campaign to see his adversaries prosecuted, a campaign that has played out on television screens and social media feeds for years. He's demanded it on social media, at rallies, and now, under his administration, the Justice Department has delivered, raising questions about the independence of American justice. The legal fight is just beginning, but the political war has entered a new, dangerous phase. The nation is bracing for a battle that will test the limits of our institutions. As of tonight, James has not made a public statement. Her office remains silent, the lights burning late as her team prepares for the fight of their careers. The charges stem from a personal real estate transaction, a mortgage to help a family member. On the surface, it's a story about paperwork and property. But no one believes this is just about a home loan. The context, the timing, and the players involved suggest something much larger is at play. This is about power, retribution, and the weaponization of our institutions. It's about who gets to wield the machinery of justice, and for what purpose. The indictment of Letitia James is not just a legal story, it's a test of the rule of law itself, a moment that will be studied for years to come. The stakes are enormous, not just for James, but for the integrity of American justice. The outcome will send a message to every public official in the country. The message is clear. In 2025, the law is a battlefield, and every move is being watched, analyzed, and debated. The outcome will shape the future of political accountability in America, setting precedents that could last for generations. The eyes of the nation are on Virginia, but the implications will ripple across every state and every branch of government. The next chapter begins now. The story is far from over, and its ending is anything but certain. The rule of law is on trial, and the verdict will define this era in American history. And the world is watching, waiting to see what kind of nation America will choose to be. To understand this indictment, you have to see the political storm Donald Trump has fueled for years. This isn't just a legal battle, it's a culmination of years of escalating conflict, where politics and the law have become deeply entangled. Trump's approach to power has always been combative, turning every challenge into a spectacle and every opponent into an enemy. For Trump, the law is a weapon, shielding friends, punishing enemies. He's used legal threats and lawsuits as tools to intimidate, distract, and dominate, blurring the line between justice and personal vendetta. Letitia James became his prime target after prosecuting him in New York. Her investigations into his business practices put her directly in Trump's crosshairs, making her a symbol of the legal challenges he faces. Trump's public campaign against her has been relentless, from social media tirades to rally chants demanding her prosecution. He's mobilized his base, painting James as a political enemy rather than a public servant doing her job. Just last month, he declared James and others guilty as hell, demanding their prosecution. Not investigation, but conviction. His words have fueled anger and suspicion, turning legal proceedings into political theater. The Justice Department has been reshaped, career professionals replaced by loyalists. This shift has raised alarms about the independence of federal law enforcement and the potential for abuse of power. Critics warned this would turn federal law enforcement into a tool for political revenge. Legal experts and former officials sounded the alarm, fearing the erosion of checks and balances. The indictment of James feels like the fulfillment of that prophecy. What was once a warning has now become reality, as the justice system is wielded against those who challenge Trump. Trump and his allies claim this is justice, but ignore the years of threats and the installation of a loyal prosecutor. They celebrate the outcome, but overlook the troubling path that led here. This isn't impartial justice. It's a political vendetta, dressed up in legal language. The process has been tainted by personal animosity and political ambition, undermining faith in the rule of law. The hurricane Trump started has made landfall. The consequences are now impossible to ignore, as the nation faces the fallout of this unprecedented clash. The target was chosen long ago, and now, the storm has found its mark. This indictment didn't happen overnight. It was the result of months, if not years, of political maneuvering, legal battles, and behind-the-scenes power plays. The path began with James's civil fraud victory against Trump in 2023, a landmark case that sent shockwaves through the political world and set the stage for what was to come. Though Trump's financial penalty was overturned on appeal, the fraud finding stuck, a humiliation for him, and a target on her back. James became a symbol of accountability, but also a lightning rod for partisan attacks. The investigation that would lead to her indictment began in May 2025. It didn't start with a whistleblower or a leak, but with a formal referral from the Trump-appointed FHFA director, a move that raised eyebrows across Washington. That referral landed on the desk of Ed Martin, the so-called weaponization czar at the Justice Department, a figure known for his aggressive tactics and willingness to push boundaries. Martin's pursuit of the case became personal, with reports surfacing of him surveilling James's property and monitoring her movements, an escalation that alarmed even some within his own department. The U.S. Attorney at the time, Eric Siebert, reviewed the evidence and found it weak. He refused to indict, citing a lack of credible proof and concerns about political motivation. On September 19, Siebert was forced to resign under mounting pressure from higher-ups, a move that sent a chilling message through the legal community. That same day, Lindsey Halligan, Trump's former personal attorney, was installed as U.S. Attorney. Her appointment was swift, controversial, and widely seen as a political maneuver. Halligan had no prosecutorial experience, but she had loyalty and a clear mandate to act where others would not. Less than 3 weeks later, she delivered the indictment Siebert wouldn't, moving quickly to make her mark and fulfill the expectations of those who put her in power. The timeline reveals a story of pressure, personnel changes, and a relentless pursuit of a political target, one that unfolded in public view, but was shaped by private decisions. The pieces were moved into place for a predetermined outcome, each step calculated to ensure the result that was ultimately delivered. The message was clear: resist and you're replaced. The machinery of power would not be denied. The result: Letitia James indicted, her fate now a symbol of the broader struggle over justice, power, and the rule of law in America. The government's case centers on a single mortgage. In 2023, James helped her niece buy a home in Norfolk, Virginia. The prosecution claims she falsely declared the property as her primary residence to secure better loan terms. That checkbox is the foundation for charges of bank fraud and false statements. The case hinges on intent. Was this a deliberate lie or a clerical error? The DOJ has turned a mundane mortgage form into a federal felony case. The prosecution will argue betrayal of public trust. The defense will call it political overreach. The battle will be over a single box, and what it really meant. The consequences for James are staggering. Each count of bank fraud carries up to 30 years in federal prison. Fines can reach $1 million per count, plus asset forfeiture. A conviction would end her legal career, force her resignation, and stain her legacy forever. The threat of such penalties creates immense pressure to accept a plea, even for the innocent. The government has brought its full weight to bear. This is not just a legal fight, it's a battle for her freedom and future. The stakes could not be higher. Every move in court is now a fight for survival. The outcome will reverberate far beyond one person. James's defense is already pushing back, armed with what they call a smoking gun. Her lawyer, Abby Lowell, says any misstatement was a clerical error, not a crime. Their key evidence, an email from James to her loan originator, stating, "This property will not be my primary residence." If the bank had this information, how could there be fraud? The defense argues the DOJ ignored exculpatory evidence to secure an indictment. They'll seek dismissal, claiming prosecutorial misconduct. This email will be the centerpiece of their case. The defense says this isn't prosecution, it's persecution. The James indictment is part of a larger pattern. Just weeks earlier, Lindsey Halligan indicted former FBI Director James Comey on different charges, but with the same political overtones. Both James and Comey were targeted after crossing Trump. Halligan, installed after her predecessor was ousted, has become the administration's instrument for prosecuting political foes. Similar probes have been opened into other Democrats, including Adam Schiff and Lisa Cook. Even without charges, the investigations send a chilling message. This is not about equal justice, it's about retribution. The motive is clear: punish those who stood against Trump. The James case is just the latest chapter. At the center is Lindsey Halligan, now U.S. Attorney for Eastern Virginia. She has no prosecutorial experience, her main credential serving as Trump's personal attorney. Her appointment, after the forced resignation of a career prosecutor, marks a turning point. Halligan's loyalty to Trump is no secret, and her role in these prosecutions raises profound questions about impartiality. The defense will argue her appointment taints the entire case. The Halligan factor is not a footnote, it's a glaring conflict of interest. Can the public trust a prosecution led by someone so closely tied to the president? The answer may define the case. The indictment of Letitiajames is more than a legal case. It's a test of the American justice system. When prosecutors are replaced by loyalists and indictments follow political vendettas, public trust crumbles. The question, is the law still a shield for the innocent, or just another weapon in a political war? The pattern of targeting Trump's adversaries points to a dangerous new reality. If the public believes justice is political, the system's legitimacy collapses. The case against James is a powerful solvent on that trust. The verdict will be rendered in court, and in the court of public opinion. The facts will be debated, but the larger question remains: can our justice system survive such an assault? Today's indictment is a warning tremor. How many more can the foundation take before it cracks?